Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In China, when a baby is about to be born, the task of giving this little life a name falls on the shoulders of the parents. A name is not just a symbol, it usually accompanies a person throughout their life. Therefore, parents often place great importance on this process, striving to give their child a meaningful and auspicious name. Furthermore, the approach to naming a child varies from person to person. Some parents use the name to express their hopes and blessings for the child's future. For example, they may wish for the child to be talented or knowledgeable, and thus choose names that carry a sense of elegance or intellectual connotation. Take the name Bin Wei as an example. It is often chosen to express parents' hopes that their child will be talented and have outstanding literary abilities. This name originates from the famous classical Chinese literary work Wen Fu, which contains the line, Song Yu Yu Yi Bin Wei, Luan Jing Wei Lang Chang, meaning graceful, fluent, and profound. The name Bin Wei itself carries a cultural aura and gives an impression of scholarly refinement. However, some parents turn to traditional Chinese philosophy, such as the Five Elements theory and Yin Yang principles, seeking the help of professional name consultants. For instance, if parents find that their child's 5 elements, Wu Xing, are unbalanced, say, with an excess of fire and a lack of water, they might consult a naming expert to incorporate the character for water into the child's name in order to restore balance, praying for the child's health and well-being throughout life. In fact, the tradition of naming based on the 5 elements has been widely practiced since the Ming Dynasty. The 16 emperors of the Ming Dynasty, for example, chose their names based on the 5 elements theory. According to historians, the 5 elements theory is an important concept in ancient philosophy, where the ancient Chinese believed that everything in the world could be categorized into 5 basic attributes: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. These 5 elements are interrelated and interact with each other to form a dynamic balance. Now, let's take a closer look at these 5 elements, their characteristics, and their relationships of generation and restraint. Wood, referred to as Cixi, represents growth, flexibility, and expansion. Wood allows things to grow and sprout, symbolizing spring, and is associated with the color green and the sour taste. Its characteristic is upward growth and vitality. Fire represents warmth and rising. Fire is passionate and ascending, symbolizing summer, and associated with the color red and the bitter taste. Fire's function is to burn and lift everything up, driving strong upward movement. Earth is the element that nourishes, supports, and balances. Earth can contain all things and nurture plants. In ancient China, the year was divided into 5 seasons, and the long summer refers to the hot days of midsummer. Earth symbolizes yellow and the sweet taste. It is the foundation connecting the other 4 elements and the source of life's creation. Metal represents cleanliness, restraint, and contraction. Metal is hard and restrictive, symbolizing autumn, and associated with the color white and the spicy taste. Metal's role is to harvest and subdue, bringing everything to a standstill and maturity. Water, known as ruanxia, is cold, moisturizing, and flows downward. Water symbolizes winter and is associated with the color black and the salty taste. Its role is to moisturize all things, maintaining the balance of life, while its fluidity enables it to nourish silently. These 5 elements not only have unique characteristics but also maintain the balance of the universe through their generating and restraining relationships. Generative, sheng, cycle refers to the relationship where one element nourishes or promotes the growth of another. For example, wood generates fire, fire generates earth, earth generates metal. Metal generates water, and water generates wood. Restraining, cycle refers to the relationship where one element restricts or controls another. For example, wood restrains earth, earth restrains water. Water restrains fire, fire restrains metal, and metal restrains wood. The ancient Chinese believed that this cycle of generation and restraint was the fundamental law governing the universe, and it was an important principle in harmonizing the five elements to maintain harmony. In daily life, the balance of the five elements is used to guide adjustments in personal destiny, health, and feng shui. For example, the emperors and princes of the Ming Dynasty used the five elements theory to name themselves and their children. The founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty, Zhu Yuanzhang, was originally named Zhu Chongba. His father was named Zhu Wuxi, and his grandfather was named Zhu Chui. You might find it strange that the Zhu family used numbers for their names. In fact, during the Yuan Dynasty, common people who could not attend school or hold official positions did not have formal names. They could only name themselves using their birthdates or the sum of their parents' ages. At the time, Zhu Yuanzhang was just a young cowherd, and naturally did not have a sophisticated name, but was instead named Chongba, a number-based name. In the late Yuan dynasty, society was in turmoil, and the common people suffered greatly. Zhu Yuanzhang's parents and relatives all died due to famine. He spent his youth in hardship, having been a monk and begging for food. Eventually, at a crucial moment of life and death, he joined the rebel army, deciding to resist the corrupt Yuan regime. Because of his bravery, calmness, and foresight, he gained the favor of Cixi, the leader of the rebellion. Cixi renamed Zhu Chongba to Zhu Yuanzhang. In fact, zhang refers to a sharp jade object, symbolizing sharpness and strength. From the perspective of the five elements, zhang belongs to fire, while the Yuan dynasty's five elements belonged to metal. Fire conquers metal. Thus, Cixi gave Zhu Chongba this name, which subtly implied the destruction of the Yuan dynasty, and expressed his hope that Zhu Yuanzhang would be able to overthrow the Yuan regime. Later, Zhu Yuanzhang indeed lived up to expectations and eventually founded the Ming Dynasty. The character Ming in Ming Dynasty is composed of sun and moon, and from the perspective of the five elements, it belongs to fire. The Yuan dynasty's five elements were metal, and fire conquers metal. This also signifies that the establishment of the Ming Dynasty replaced the Yuan dynasty, reflecting Zhu Yuanzhang's deep understanding of the five elements. So, what about the names of other emperors of the Ming Dynasty? According to the traditional Chinese lunar calendar, spring begins with wood, and spring represents the wood element. The rising sun each day symbolizes the beginning of wood. Therefore, Zhu Yuanzhang naturally hoped that his successors would begin with wood, allowing the five elements to generate and nourish each other. The names of his sons all contained the character, wood, to express the generative relationship between the five elements. Since wood generates fire, the names of Zhu Yuanzhang's grandsons typically ended with a character symbolizing the fire element. Looking at the names of the Ming Dynasty emperors, we see that the last character of most of their names contained characters like, all of which are related to the fire element. This also aligns with the generative pattern of the five elements. Under the feudal system of primogeniture, the second emperor of the Ming Dynasty, Zhu Yunwen, was the son of Zhu Yuanzhang's eldest son. Therefore, his name and the name of the fourth emperor, Zhu Gaoqi, belonged to the same generation. From these names, we can see that, except for Zhu Yuanzhang, the 16 emperors of the Ming Dynasty shared similar five-element attributes if they were from the same generation. If it was a father-son succession, they followed the principle of the five elements generating each other. The generative relationship of the five elements means that the five elements of the father can promote and support the growth of the children, reflecting Zhu Yuanzhang's emphasis on the continuity of the dynasty and the father-son relationship. In this naming system, I generate and I am generated play a mutually reinforcing role, symbolizing both a wish for the dynasty's continuation and the expectation of mutual support between father and son. According to relevant historians, the five elements culture is an ancient observation and reflection on the universe. The five elements theory is not an empty, mysterious doctrine. but rather a form of simple materialism that the ancient Chinese used to understand the changes in the natural world. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.